Mario Kart 8 is basically a souped up version of Mario Kart 7, and that game's big main gimmick was being able to glide in the air for a prolonged amount of time. However, what if we were theoretically incapable of pulling them out? Well, that's exactly what we're about to find out. But before we begin, we must show you a strategy that we will use extensively for this challenge. It's not a difficult trick, but it's a really handy one. You basically drift into the panel in a way that will not trigger the glider. For the purposes of this video, I'll abbreviate its name from glider cancel drift to GCD. But all you need to know is if there is no way to fall off without driving into a glider ramp, that's the strategy we're going to be using. We will count a track as impossible if we cannot go through the track without pulling out a glider. So let's go. So Mario Kart Stadium is easily clearable with this trick, but if you wondered if you can clear this jump without touching the blue panel, well, here you go. Same thing for Water Park. Surprisingly, Sweet Sweet Canyon introduces something that will become a problem in the future. Glider cannons. You can't go through them without triggering your glider, and even if you could, Lakitu will pick you up and send you backwards. So yeah, there's nothing we could do here. Anyways, thankfully in Thorpe Ruins we can jump off the road and Lakitu will respawn us down here and we will be able to complete the level. Mario Circuit, you can choose not to use the glider, and Toad Harbor has none whatsoever. Twisted Mansion kind of looks intimidating due to the narrowness of the road, but if you drift at a good angle or just bonk onto the wall, you'll get past from here. Now, Shy Guy Falls was the first truly difficult course to complete due to the fact that we're completely stuck in the waterfall. We cannot jump off the side of it, and if we drove off, Lakitu won't help much either. And even using a well-timed GCD, we still cannot get past this obstacle. The spawn point that leads Lakitu to put us down the track is really far away, and we can't trigger that much speed out of the track. Even with a gained speed from the waterfall, we still cannot get past this obstacle. However, in a situation like this, we have a trick up our sleeves: mushrooms. When doing a GCD, I never said that it wouldn't work when shrooming. It's slightly more difficult to control the angle of a drift like this, but when you do, you will gain forward momentum until you either go to the sides or Lakitu picks you up. And if we do a massive jump and reach the correct spawn point, we'll conquer this track. Sunshine Airport and Electrodrome require the same strategy, but to a much easier scale. Sunshine Airport being slightly less so, as this portion of the track is a semi-glider cannon, but nothing to worry about too much. Dolphin Shoals is as simple as falling off, and even Mount Wario with its multiple laps is somewhat easy to complete thanks to my incompetence. But what could possibly go wrong? Oh yeah, I forgot. Cloudtop Cruise had a glider cannon. Okay, so what I did was clip through this drop into the wall and drove very slowly, never clipping back in bounds, and when it was time to fly, I flew off the map and Lakitu sent me into a storm. This is called a wall clip, and it looks very cool when you pull it off correctly. And the good thing about being in Cloudtop Cruise is that you can pull this trick endless amount of times, which is a huge benefit. So when you get in the storm, you've got to drift off the track and you're golden. Bone Dry Dunes is easy, and same for Bowser's Castle, but you can also cannon launch off the track. But Rainbow Road is where everything goes to shit. You have this huge glider section which will block our progress, and there's only one thing you can realistically do: jump off the track and hope to reach a spawn point. So you'll have to try over and over and over and over again. But if you somehow got here, it doesn't really matter because this is a cannon glider and there's no way to get past from this, so yeah, don't even bother with this one. Moo Moo Meadows, Mario Circuit, Toad's Turnpike, all as simple as pie. Cheap Cheap Beach wasn't all too hard either. Just drift into the correct way and you'll be good. Dry Desert and Donut Plains don't even allow you to pull up a glider, so no worries there. Royal Raceway is the glider track, so you might have to pull something elaborate and risky just to be able to reach the other side of the map. Nope. DK Jungle, no problems, man. Okay, so things are getting a bit too easy, so let's just name every track which requires little to no strats. You got Wario Stadium, Sherbet Land, Music Park, Yoshi Valley, Tick-Tock Clock, Grumble Volcano, and in the case of these two, drift onto the Abyss, and for N64, Rainbow Road. Just fall off here and drift off here. And for the entirety of the Egg Cup, there isn't a single glider section in any of these 4 tracks. Wario's Gold Mine and SNES Rainbow Road, same story. Alright, so Ice Outpost is actually an interesting one. So at the start of this track, the road splits into 2, but you can jump off from a higher track down to the other, which is pretty useful. But you can also boost off the taller track and jump off the road without the need of actually touching the panel itself. Hyrule Circuit, just drift onto the Abyss. Baby Park is Baby Park, so you know it's going to be really difficult stuff here. Choose Land, you can either drift off the road into the Abyss where Lakitu will pick you up, or you can be an absolute Chad and boost and launch off yourself from the cheese hole and avoid the blue panel altogether. Wild Woods requires you to boost off the wood and gain a great distance, then you'll reach the bottom. Animal Crossing and Neo Bowser City, just GCD off the track and you'll be fine. And you could just fall off the track in Ribbon Road and Lakitu will pick you up and you'll reach the finish line. And Super Bowl Subway was very much possible. Oh, Big Blue, where do I even begin? So we got to go from here all the way to there. So I tried a GCD and got picked up, but not to the other side, so nothing happened. So I had one more theory. We had to get on top of the wall, but there isn't really a feasible way to get on top of it without falling off. Well, I actually had one idea that might work. You see this signpost on top of the wall? Well, by driving diagonally through the glider panel, we may be able to stay on top of the wall. But due to the small speed boost the glider ramp triggers, it won't be easy landing safely on the wall. But when you do, boost off the platform and you'll fall slowly into the next section. So yeah, we need to get through this cannon glider section. So you might think that all we did was in vain, but you would be incorrect. I bonked off the wall and the glider didn't trigger, so I just fell off and Lakitu finally picked me up and justice was served. Paris Promenade starts us out with this glider section next to the Eiffel Tower, and you can just drift off it, and same for the final lap version. And for the love of God, do not drive off here by accident like I did. I had to reset the race. Toad Circuit doesn't require you to go flying, so it's doable. I thought Choco Mountain would require the use of mushrooms to get Lakitu and send us to the other side, but no. A well-timed GCD is enough. And for Coconut Wall, just go to the bottom floor and you'll be okay. Tokyo Blur's final section has a glider, but no problems there. Room Ridge has no glider section, and in Sky Garden you can yeet yourself from the cloud at the top to the bottom. However, this huge streak of possible tracks gets cut due to Ninja Hideaway. Ninja Hideaway has this massive, humongous gap that you're supposed to fly to the top rather than to the bottom, which means that the respawn point in which Lakitu could pick you up and send you to the top is unfathomably high. A shroomed GCD won't suffice at all. Even in the highest of places, Lakitu won't care. So yeah, the track can screw off. New York Minute and Calamari Desert have secondary glider routes, but they're optional, so we good. And Mario Circuit 3 is Mario Circuit 3. But guess what? Waluigi Pinball is the next track. So yeah, let's just move on. Sydney Sprint was actually a really big pain in the It wasn't a fact of finding a solution to the problem with the surroundings I was given. No. Rather, it was a case of brute forcing it. The first jump was somewhat difficult to perform without triggering the glider. Now, the second glider section is just absolute whack. We're supposed to cross this river to the Sydney Opera House, and I thought, just to be safe, I could jump off the greenery to the boat. But I either touched the glider trigger, or I didn't get enough distance, so what's the problem? If I don't drift enough, I'll glide, but if I drift too much, Lakitu will pick me up and send me backwards. So we've got to find a middle ground here, and we only get 3 tries before we have to restart the track again. And that's how you do it. But wait, there's more. Jump off this metal ramp onto the water and you're golden. Snowland is simple, and the only thing you need to look out for in Mushroom Gorge is this blue trampoline mushroom, which will trigger your glider. Out of all tracks in this challenge to give me trouble, never in a million years did I expect Sky High Sundae to be that track. So the dilemma is quite obvious at first. There's this blue glider section blocking the rest of the track, and the GCD won't work. But you see, curiosity hit me. So if you look around, you'll find this floor tile next to the lap trigger, and this one tile acts as a very, very small ramp. You will jump over the glider panel and you will fall in style onto the next part of the track. That's the only section with a glider, so the job here is done. London and Boo Lake don't have any glider segments, so easy money there. Rock Mountain looked daunting to complete due to its significant use of gliders. However, a simple GCD will be enough. The first one might give us some problems, as you have a tiny space to work with, but if you do a very extreme drift, you will clear it. The Maple Treeway is, impossible. Berlin has none, and in Peach Garden's final lap, you'll do a simple drift and it's easy as hell. And so is Merry Mountain. 3DS Rainbow Road has some glider ramps. The first one is near to the Saturn-like planet, where you can boost off the road, and when leaving you will do the same. And when you reach the corkscrew segment, just go through the boost panel instead. Amsterdam Drift isn't as annoying as Sydney Sprint, and you don't need to drive for a minute every time you want to repeat this track, but it's still pretty annoying. You need to cross the river without using the glider. I tried clipping through the wall, but no luck there. You need to say it out loud with me. GCD at a great speed and a great angle to drift in. Riverside Park is fine, but DK Snowball Cross due to the glider cannon, it's not really possible. Yoshi's Island is possible, however, with a GCD. You'll have to do 2 consecutive drifts and Lakitu will spawn you upwards, but when descending you can fly off the cloud into the land below. Bangkok Rush has this one glider segment where you fly off a hill onto the Democracy Monument, or the but if you jump off and die, you'll not be able to clear this map. Mario Circuit and Waluigi Stadium are fine enough to go through. However, Singapore has this cannon where you can fall off and respawn ahead. okay. And when you respawn up the hotel, you can fall off and end up back in the football field. Then when you find yourself in the fountain section near the hotel, you have to GCD off the course into the pool below. And the final glider segment here, you just have to fall off the metal railing, and Singapore is done. Athens Dash requires some more boosts and drifts off the stage to let Lakitu pick you up. Daisy Cruise Ship and Moonview Highway are easy money. Squeaky Clean Sprint, or as the Spanish localizers decided to call it, Accelerated Toilet, is next. And I've got bad news for you. The ramp that glides you to the toilet is impossible to cheat through, so bugger all. This whole cup is pretty simple to complete, so I won't get into it for too long. LA Laps only has one obligatory glider segment, which is so simple to fall off it's not even funny. Sunset Wilds and Cooper Cape are free of glider panels, and Vancouver actually has this crevice where you can jump off and fall off. Rome Avanti surprisingly only has one, located in the Ritone fountain. Yeah, what did you think? A GCD is enough to clear this stage. What's not fine is DK Mountain. No, not the track. The big old glider cannon preventing us from completing this track. Though Daisy Circuit is the easiest shit ever. And you can jump off the glider panel completely in Piranha Plant Cove. Madrid, you have this huge jump off the fountain, but unlike Rome, you need to shroom off it and gain insane speed at a strange angle. But if you pull it off correctly, you will have completed this track. And same for Rosalina's Ice World and Bowser Castle 3. And for the great finale, we Rainbow Road. Yeah, there's nothing we can do here. Now, although 9 were impossible, making this challenge technically end in a failure, 87 is still a huge number. I'd still consider this a successful run, and maybe one of these 9 might be possible to beat gliderless in the future. But anyways, I'ma head out.